What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is April 21st of 2022. Well, folks, I hope you all are having a fantastic day wherever you are, and in today's video, I want to spend some time to talk about why deep market insights are signaling to us that this rebound in crypto markets is set to climb even higher here. And I'm not just going to be taking a look at price today, we're going to be analyzing what really drives market prices higher or lower. And if you can hear my laptop purring, there's a reason for it. We'll dive straight into it, guys. Now, I want to go ahead and again emphasize what I'm going to be discussing today. I want to explain why it is that not only over the past 3 or so days, we've been seeing a continued uptrend, really since the last 3.5 days here, back on April 18th, when we set in the new relative low here, around 38,500. Why we have not only climbed up about $4,000 to $42,550, but why we are going to continue to likely climb higher and set in a new relative high against the other previous highs we had throughout this year. And again, I want to put it on the auto scale here, showcase that we're just going through a repeating pattern here. We're having these 20-25% corrections, give or take, and we're generally seeing price come up and set in new relative highs here, signaling higher lows and higher highs. But that's one part of the equation here. It's one part of the equation to analyze what price is telling us directly. There's also something else we can start to analyze here that can give us some much deeper insights into the market. Today, I'm going to be diving into one of the tools we utilize here on the channel a lot, and that is Bookmap. Now, for those of you who haven't seen me use Bookmap just yet, Bookmap is an incredibly powerful tool. Bookmap gives us insights on the given market to see things that we just generally cannot find on platforms like TradingView or on most other platforms by simply analyzing price, all in one space. Now, I want to make it very clear here that all the while things might look a bit overwhelming at the start, I want to make it clear that a lot of this is actually quite digestible, and it tells us a lot of important things about what the market is currently doing here. Right? If we want to track Bitcoin or Ethereum in the current state of the market here, we need to not only look at price, if we really want to get in-depth analysis in this case and really get a leg up on the market, but we need to be able to see where two things are going. Market order flow, in this case, are there more buyers who are taking the best available price or more sellers who are taking the best available price to sell their Bitcoin? And we need to also look at limit order resistance and support, the bids and the asks on the order book, people who are waiting to buy a certain portion of Bitcoin at a given price and people who are waiting to sell their Bitcoin at a given price. Right? This is what determines market price. These two elements are what drive markets higher or lower. If there are more people who are willing to buy Bitcoin at a price that's slightly below the market price, the last traded price, and a lot of people market buying in this case, versus the opposite of people wanting to sell at a given price or sell at the best market price, you are going to see price go higher, and vice versa. If the other outweighs the other, price would drag down. Now, I want to go ahead and drive in some really important analytics here that I think you guys are going to find very valuable here. Right now, we're looking at the BTC USD GDAX feed. This is the Coinbase Pro feed here within Bookmap. Now, one thing I do want to emphasize here, as you guys see all these tools here, you guys can definitely try out the platform for free, get a feel for it. But one thing that's really important to note here when it comes to Bookmap is that with one of the other paid plans on the platform, you get Bookmap data. You get deep liquidity across all the exchanges. So I highly recommend, if you guys are going to be using Bookmap as a platform, I recommend you do that because it really gives you a full oversight of the market. And there's all kinds of things like liquidation data, all kinds of different metrics we can use to really get some insights in the market. But I want to go ahead here and talk about what we've been seeing here within Bitcoin and Ethereum here. Now, all the while, the cumulative volume delta, or CVD, which really does a good job of tracking market order flow within the market, has been relatively neutral for the most part here over the past couple of days. We can see here that on the heat map here, these orange kind of yellowish bars here, these are past limit orders that got filled by buyers. Market order flow has been enough to clear through here, as we can see through the volume dots here, has been able to drive prices higher and clear through those limit orders here. And it seems like we have nowhere near the same kind of limit order resistance that was weighing down price before, giving the ability for Bitcoin to be able to climb much higher here into the coming hours. Now, all the while it is important, there is still some limit orders. There always will be limit orders or asks on the order book. It's nowhere near as heavy as what we had before. Now, to get a better view of what we're talking about here when it comes to the limit order resistance or the bids and the asks on the order book, we're going to go ahead and turn off the contrast here and really focus in on the key focus points here. And as you can see within these red and orange lines, this is where people are waiting to get their orders filled here. Right, these are potential sellers on the market who are saying, I'm not wanting to sell my Bitcoin until we get to a certain price range. And the faster we can get market order flow, or these volume dots here, to clear through that range, the more price can heavily accelerate up to the upside. And that's usually what leads to those kind of breakouts, when a basically whale or institutional investor wants to go about filling a 500 BTC or 1,000 BTC or multi-thousand BTC order. They're going to wait for one of those nice hefty limit orders, fill in a lot of that, and even afterwards cause some spread in price, dragging prices higher and bringing Bitcoin up $1,000 or a couple $100 from its given price at the moment. And this is, again, what dictates markets. It can happen the other way around here. If we start to see a lot of market sell-side pressure clearing through the limit orders or the order book here, which we can see on the right-hand side, we could easily see Bitcoin come on down to 39,500. We can see that there isn't much Bitcoin providing support outside of this kind of tight range, or per se the market makers here, which are trading in a very short period of time. So again, I want to emphasize that it's very, very important to watch this kind of market insight data, and we can also do the same here for Ethereum. So if we dive over here into the bookmap data for Ethereum here, we can see that the cumulative volume delta here has been picking up for Ethereum as we see more green volume dots here, more market order flow in favor of the bulls, people coming in, buying up at the best available price. But one thing that's important to note here is that all the while, a lot of the buy side pressure here has really been leading the way here from the range that we're looking at, or in this case, this is the temporary volume profile here for the range we're looking at. What we have here is a lot of limit order resistance, a lot of Ethereum looking to be sold here between this 3,200 to 3,300 range. So Ethereum is going to have some buyers in the market who clear through this range. And we can use the volume dot profile, we can use the volume profile for the range we're looking at, and whether we're short-term trading or long-term trading, we can start to gauge and guesstimate where market price is going to go. I would say in this case that all the while there's a lot of limit order resistance, if we start to clear through one or two layers of that, especially with the confidence here in these volume dots, we're probably going to get a clear through here. And I think both Bitcoin and Ethereum are the two key ones you want to watch here. There are a wide range of different cryptos here that we can watch, but I think these are really the two ones that have really liquid markets and really have people, again, who are looking at the order book, really trying to clear through these types of positions here and drive prices either higher or lower. And this is a really big talking point here that I want to build on here. And that is that all the while we might be watching these ratios here in the market, we are watching the ETH BTC ratio, etc. There are a lot of giveaways that you may not spot within price that we can find within the data on Bookmap. I'll give a great example of this. All the while there might be a lot of limit order resistance, people putting asks on the order book and keeping prices down. We might see a lot of heavy green volume dots here where buyers are coming in and still buying at the best available price here, showcasing that the CVD is signaling high strength, that it's ready to clear through these limit orders that keep pressing price down. They're taking these opportunities to really fill large scaled orders, right? So there are all kinds of things that we can utilize these two models or all the various indicators you can get through Bookmap. And if you guys are interested, I highly recommend you guys check out the link down below in the description. That way you guys can get access to these tools and really start to sign up for one of the major plans there where you can get deep market liquidity data and all types of other additional features. But if you just want to give it a spin, feel free to try the free version as well. It's definitely a great tool to put alongside TradingView. Now, going back to the ratios here, outside of the kind of deeper liquidity or trading volume data that we're looking at through Bookmap, on TradingView here, we can see here on the kind of higher time frame, the ETH to BTC ratio is yet again coming down as it has back here on April 5th, here on April 10th, and here on April 18th to turn this general range of previous resistance into new support, similar to how it did back over here, right? So we need to turn this range into a new range of support so price would be able to eventually continue setting in higher lows and higher highs and tracting higher in price. That's what we're looking out for here in the coming days. And I think with the renewed strength we're seeing in Bitcoin, as we've seen in the past, we can see that not only Bitcoin moves higher, but the ETH to BTC ratio climbs higher, similar to how it did between mid-March to mid-April. Now, one last thing that I wanted to dive into here in today's video is a lot of people are asking me whether or not, as Ethereum starts to move higher, if I'm expecting that the competing layer 1 or layer 2 protocols are going to go just as fast as Ethereum. And to be honest with you all, as much as we weren't on top, and I'm always going to admit when we could have done better on things, etc., I'm going to be honest with you all, I don't think we were really well on top of the whole competing layer 1 and layer 2 movement. I gotta be honest with you guys, as we emphasize here on the channel, you guys see it in my title sometimes, you see me talk about it a lot, we do not want to catch ourselves 2 steps behind. And what do I mean by this? What I mean is that we have to take a look at the market metrics and see whether or not getting into these competing protocols is gonna be better. Now, if you want to make, have some exposure to these plays, I don't think there's anything wrong with that whatsoever. But if you're really someone who says I'm gonna be either all in on Ethereum or on competing layer 1 protocols like Solana, like Luna, like Avalanche, Cardano, whatever it may be, you might be in the losing seat and you might be losing out against one of the simplest kind of good, solid level of risk, but solid level of reward plays, which is Ethereum, right? We can see here that the dominance for these plays has been declining on average since back in August for the market, whereas Ethereum's dominance is continuing to hold up here, and since back here in January of this year, we've gained about 2.5% of market dominance here for Ethereum, right? Not exponential returns, and certainly not as good as maybe plays like Luna that are in that index, right? But it depends if whether or not you're going to be exposed as heavily to one of those plays. You really got to take some risk there. And for me, the great risk to reward balance here is in Ethereum, right? I only want to promote that, guys, because of the simple fact that I don't want you guys to go out and try to do too many speculative things and end up losing against some of the safest plays. It's kind of like passive investing in equities in this case. It's very difficult, whether you're a hedge fund or an everyday individual, to beat out the S&P 500, right? You really have to be able to do market due diligence. You have to have the experience in the market, and it can take some time to kind of build up that profile and that knowledge around the market. You don't want to miss opportunities when they come. There's nothing wrong with just passively investing in some of the larger plays here, and I think Ethereum is one of those bets for this cycle. Anyways, that's it for today's video, guys. I'm curious to hear what you all think about this, diving into the market data, in this case around the buy side pressure, sell side pressure in the market through Bookmap. Definitely recommend you guys check it out if you haven't already. And outside of that as well, whether or not you guys think in this case that we really are substantiated to not only set in a new relative high for Bitcoin as we climb up here towards around the 49, 50K range, but also if we have the ability to really get up and set in the new all-time high that we've been talking about here for some time in spring and at the latest, the early summer. I'm curious to hear what you all think about that. But I've rambled on enough today, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day wherever you are, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.